Hey everybody, it's Maggie Mulhern from Modern Salon TV. I am here with my BFF, my salon BFF, really, Eva Scrivo.
You're my friend too.
Yeah, I love and adore her, and we're here at her salon in New York City, and she's the balayage princess. What do we decide? What do we call you?
We like princess works. That's
All right.
good. Hi world.
So I was asking her, I said, what are your favorite brushes? You know, how do you determine what brush to use when you're doing balayage? And it led into this whole discussion. So now we're going to flip it around. She's going to go over everything for you, and feel free to ask your questions. We only have her for 5 minutes, so I'm going to flip that. And here we are. Alrighty, so Miss Eva Scrivo, we are here in your beautiful salon.
Thank you. Welcome.
So tell us, like, why did you pick the brushes that you picked right here?
Well, you know, it's really interesting because I was a makeup artist before I became a colorist, and I learned a lot about the importance of the right tools. So if you look at this makeup brush right here, you can see that the hairs are very soft. They're not firmly cut in a specific straight line. They're actually very feathered. Now, this is a hand placing technique of a lot of makeup companies use. It's hair by hair, and it's a soft finish, okay? You're looking for that type of soft finish when you are using a balayage brush. Now, using a brush to apply highlighter, you can see that these little tips are slightly softened, opposed to the very hard edge of this brush. Now, these are two different balayage brushes. We use both of these at the salon, and I recommend you trying to see what works for you. But just looking for that softness of the edge, it's called a natural finish. Now, you can look at the art supply for your brushes. You can try to mimic some of these looks by using your own scissors to create that specific effect. This is another example of a very hard edge here, opposed to the finer tips and the softer finish of the first one.
So talk to me about in the very early days of balayage, I used to see people customize and they would cut them down. Do you ever do that?
You know, once in a while, but we have so many options now. I love all the brushes that we have to choose from. Goldwell, Wella, L'Oreal, they all make great brushes, and you have to see what works for you, because balayage is about the inner artist. It's about painting. So if you have an art background, or you love doing makeup, or you do your own makeup or your clients, this is a great opportunity to work with your own inner self, your own inner artist, and bring that painter out, because that's really what it's about. It's about customizing your work, being very individual with each client, and really expressing yourself as an artist, and also themselves as a client.
All right, two questions. Somebody wants to know when you use the soft and when you use the hard. And the other one, somebody else wants to know, which is your fave?
Well, the hard is going to give you more control. It's going to give you a little deeper application of the bleach, so depending on the amount of saturation that you want. The softer finish is great for feathering techniques and highlighting around the face and those areas that can be hard to reach. So you might have 3 or 4 tools on your tray when you're working, and I like to keep a little extra hydrogen peroxide to keep the paste at a nice consistency and have it a nice feel to work with. The tools and the techniques, they go hand in hand. So it's about finding what works for you, because it's very individual. Even the size of your hands, being female or male, will depend on what tools you feel most comfortable with.
Okay, and we get the question that we always get, which is which is your favorite lightener?
Well, you know, I actually don't use just one lightener, because this is such a highly customizable craft. I use lighteners depending what I need it to achieve. So Silk Lift is a favorite of mine. I love Silk Lift by Goldwell. I love L'Oreal Platinum. I also like Artego, and I like some of the paste lighteners by Wella. Every bleach gives you a different effect. It gives you a different tone. So think about what you want to achieve and then choose your product. Try not to grab one product for everybody. It works different on every type of hair and pigment, so it has to be chosen individually.
Any tips for preventing bleeding?
Well, you know, bleeding happens when you're young in your craft of painting. And, you know, we offer balayage classes here, and we go over ways to prevent bleeding. It has to do with many different variables, from the texture and the consistency of the product to how you work with the product and how much you work with the product. It's actually a very scientific approach to color. Balayage is not just freestyle painting, it's actually only painting the top layer of the hair. So in order to do that, you really need to learn about the actual science of it, learn about the ancient practice of it, because it's not so new, it's been around for a long time in France, and learn how some of these old school hairdressers work with heavy paste lighteners. It's really fascinating.
All right, that's great. And somebody's asking, is this a Q&A or a demo?
Absolutely.
If you saw earlier, it was showing the difference among these brushes.
It's kind of showing the difference between the soft finish opposed to the hard finish. This is going to give you more feathering options. This is going to give you a heavier saturation. So working with all the right tools are key. And I used a makeup brush earlier to kind of show how makeup brushes have historically had this soft finish and gives a lot more control in a softer blush or powder application on the face. Same goes for balayage.
Okay, so we're in New York City, and I know you have to, somebody's asking you about your next class. I know your next class is sold out.
Yes.
It's the Eva Scrivo Academy. I know that, and it's you limit the amount of people that can come.
We do.
You limit it to how many people per class?
We like to stay between 16 and 18, so we give a lot of individualized attention. You can observe a class, but unless you have that one-on-one, someone standing right next to you, breaking some of your bad habits, you're not going to learn as much. So we like to have more intimate classes. We have a very open, conversational class where people can open up and ask whatever they want to, how to grow their business, problems they have in their salon, problems they have behind the chair. With coworkers, with owners. It's we have a lot of anonymity here at our school. But the painted cut, we still have some availability. That's in November, and I combine cutting and balayage techniques. So what's really fun, what we do is we cut first with some of our signature cuts, and then we paint the haircut. So we work with the painting as a secondary, not a first. Often people do color first. And we work with the shape and the dimensions and the layering patterns, and we work with lowlights and highlights to bring that shape out. So we're excited to share it.
And in answering two questions, number one, it's Eva Scrivo, EVA. In fact, I'll make it easy for you guys. That's how you spell her name, Eva Scrivo. And it's the Eva Scrivo Academy in New York City.
That's right.
And somebody was asking when you use a board and when you use foils.
You know, we combine foils and balayage all the time, and we actually have a class coming up next year where it's called Blonde Theory, and we combine that. And I think that sometimes you have to. When you're looking for almost like a one or single dimensional type of blonde, use a foil. When you're looking for a more multi-dimensional look, almost like a built-in low light, use balayage. And sometimes you need both. It depends on the amount of coverage that your client wants in the part, in her hairline. There's nothing wrong with combining them. But remember, foil is a great conductor of heat, so you can't, if you use a 20, it turns out to be like a 40 or a 60 inside of a foil. So you have to make sure that you're not balayaging and foiling with the same product, because the moment you add heat, it really heats things up. I think balayage is like baking, and foils is like sauteing or frying, so it gets a lot hotter in there.
Even cook. All right, and so
you can tell I'm Italian too.
All righty. So it's Eva, Jeanette from your May Balayage class just said hello.
Yeah. Hey.
And the next class you said is November. People are asking how to get to the next class. You go to Eva Scrivo.
EvaScrivo.com. You can go right to the Academy page, read about our classes and our techniques. Every class is different. So even if you've come to one of my classes before, I change the presentation, I show different models, and I try to remember where we left off last time so we can pick up and keep going on your balayage journey.
So great. I know you have a client processing back
yes.
there, so I'm going to let you go.
I have to go.
All right. Thanks so much, Eva. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye.